The Grand Power Q1, let's check it out. Grand Power's out of Slovakia, and they're a military small arms manufacturer. They make the Stribog, which is a submachine gun, but we get them here in semi-automatic form as a pistol or a carbine. But they also make a really nice line of handguns. They're very innovative. They use the rotating barrel system, very similar to the Beretta PX4 Storm. But if you've never shot the rotating barrel system, it is so soft to shoot, and it delays the recoil, and it gives it a very flat shooting experience. Now, originally they made them all in hammer-fire double single action, but a few years ago they came out with their Q100 series, which was a striker fire. Now we're going to look at the Q1, and this is an upgraded version of the original. And guys, taking this out to the range, it is a really awesome experience. That rotating barrel system really changes a lot of things when shooting a handgun. And we want to give a big thank you to Nate over at Gun Zone Deals for sending the Grand Power Q1 for this review. Gun Zone Deals helps us bring a lot of different firearm reviews to you guys, and we really do appreciate it. Grand Power is known for its rotating barrel design on their handguns. They're out of Slovakia. They've been in business since 2002, and honestly very well known on the competitive circuits. Coming into the U.S. a number of years ago, and it's just a total different design. I love the rotating barrel system. So let's take a quick look. This dropper magazine's 15+1. The barrel just rotates. Very similar to the PX4 Storm by Beretta, which is, by the way, an incredible shooting handgun. This stays in a linear position. It does not tilt like the Browning design. And so the recoil doesn't tend to pop the muzzle up. It tends to kind of come back in your hand, but it softens the recoil because of the rotating locking barrel system. Now this is the Gen 2. It's the Mark 23. Originally they had the Mark 12. And this is a polymer frame striker fire pistol, but that was a new design from Grand Power. The originals were the K100, which we have here. This is a full-size double single action, and of course we'll go ahead 15+1, and again that rotating barrel. It's a highly polished stainless steel barrel, which makes it really slick in the action. And I'll tell you what, guys, these at the range shoot incredibly different, but it's a good difference. I love that we're seeing a number of different really cool designs coming to market. Now, this is, again, the K100, which is the double single action. They make a number of models for that. But we did a review also on the Q100. This is their striker fire pistol, and it's the full size. And you'll see that it does have a little bit of extension here with the barrel. The barrel on the Q1 is 3.7 inches, and I believe on the full size it's 4.25 inches. So you have about a little over a half-inch difference. But you'll notice that the slide serrations, that's a huge difference. Very much like the Walther PDP or the Beretta APX, their new version. It has really aggressive slide serrations that are going to be easy to be able to grab. They're good, they're wide, and just really easy front serrations as well. And this really helps with racking the slide, and a lot of guns have gone to that. Also, we have cuts in the slide right here, relief cuts, and we are optics ready. And there are even some cuts here on either side, and that's pretty much for styling. This is a polymer base. We'll talk about the optics plate in a minute. This is actually a pretty cool system, and it retains the rear sight. The slide is cut from one piece of bar stock. It does have a really nice anodized finish on it. So one of the things, the original models, they had a little bit of it was oxidized, but it had kind of a different finish to it. It wears really nice, but I really like the new design finish they have on here. Also, you'll notice that it has a flat face trigger. That is something new. We had the original curved trigger on the models previously. Another big plus is that we have really high textured grips. The grip panels here on the side, here on the front we have serrations, but it's a nice texturing that really kind of grips to your hand. And to be honest, more like a lot of the modern handguns are using now. With the original, it did have texturing, but it was a little bit slick. And so, that's just a big upgrade, giving it just more texturing, a better feel to it. But really the grips, as far as length, are pretty much the same. This just gives you a little less at the muzzle, which makes this just a great little concealed carry piece. Now obviously, the grip is what extends and shows if it's going to print when you're concealed carrying. But this is really similar to the G19X or the Glock 19X, which has the longer grip and then it has a shorter slide. With the Q models, there's no safety, no external safety. There is a plug. This does use the exact same magazines with the double single action or with the striker fire pistols. And I'm pretty sure that these are Metgar mags. I mean, they look really high quality and they work really well at the range. Nice little base plate, orange follower. But 15 rounds. Now they do have their Q1S, which has a little bit of a shorter grip and a little bit of a shorter barrel. In fact, it's not even half an inch. In fact, about a quarter of an inch difference in barrel length. But it does get that grip down to where it makes it really good for concealed carry. We have a one-slot Picatinny rail, similar to the Glock. We have a squared-off trigger guard with serrations at the front. Fully ambidextrous mag release. And it does jettison the mags out. We also have slide stops that are ambidextrous as well. So this is a fully ambidextrous handgun. And the takedown levers are right here on either side. Very similar to the Glock as far as placement, but we'll take a look at the breakdown. It's a little bit different than your Glock, but similar to others. The front of the slide has been beveled, and of course we have those relief cuts right here. We have the coat of arms for Slovakia, and we have GP Q1 on the slide. I like that they have most of the markings in a muted kind of state. I do like that this is kind of a little bit of an off-white color. I love to see proof marks, especially from Europe, on different handguns, and we have our serial number. We also have a serial number right here below the Picatinny rail. And we have the serial number right here at the back of the slide. Now, one of the things about this handgun is it has an internal chassis system. And that's going to allow you to change out your grip. In fact, they've come out with a number of different grip colors, including FDE, green, and gray. And so that's going to give you options to be able to change this out if you want a different color. 3-dot sights in white, they are steel, and this one's dovetailed, this one is pinned. And we have a cocked striker indicator here at the back plate. And you'll notice that little nub, when you pull the trigger, it just disappears. Doesn't mean the gun is loaded or unloaded, it just means that the gun is cocked. But in your hand, definitely a nice bore axis. It's not too high, it's not super low, but it really shoots well. And a lot of that has to do with that recoiling system coming back. And you have that slight little beaver tail, which tends to give you more control. At the range, I mean, this was really a pleasure to shoot. And I had shot a number of Grand Powers in the past with that rotating barrel system, but this really just shot very well. In fact, I really liked it a little more than even the Q100 as far as the recoil impulse. A little less slide mass coming back in my hand. And because of these deep relief cuts, that actually takes more metal out of your slide. And as far as the size comparison, it really compares to the Glock 19. It's actually just a touch longer here at the grip. I would say about a ½ inch. And then here at the front, without the beaver tail, they're pretty much neck and neck. And of course the beaver tail does come out. This gives you more of a size reference. I mean, we all know the size of the Glock 19. And one thing that Grand Power did right was they include all of your optic adapter plates. We have the RMR plate, which is also adaptable to your Holosun. We have the Vortex and the sights that fit that footprint. We have the Seymour sights. And we have the Shield RMS. And you have a set of different screws. And there are 3 additional back straps included with the one other than the handgun, and this one has actually an area that comes up that kind of fills in that area where your beaver tail comes to a point. And included is 3 magazines. Again, these are 15+1, and I think they run about $29.95. They're very reasonable, but it's really nice to have those extra magazines. The trigger is a flat face trigger. It does have your trigger safety, so as you press it, it's going to block the trigger action. If you put your finger on the pad of the trigger, you relieve that. And so here we have some take up, and it hits a wall. A little bit of resistance, and then the brake. It's not a super crisp brake, but it's definitely tactile. And then reset. Right there. Trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge. 3 pounds, 4 ounces. 3 pounds, 3.6 ounces. As far as weapon light mounting, here is the Surefire X300 Ultra. Then here we have the Streamlight, and this is their TLR1 HL. It fits really nice. And we have the Olight Baldur Pro R. And here for a compact light, we have the Baldur Mini. All of these lights fit really well, and there are others obviously that will fit. Now, these lights were sent to us by Optics Planet. You get a 7% discount using Suit00 on anything on the site. But you want to give them a big thank you. And Olight sent these weapon sights. And we have weight on the GP Q1. 26.75 ounces. All right, guys, big thanks to Fiocchi USA for sponsoring the ammo, all made in the USA. One of the biggest suppliers of ammunition in the country. Very consistent. We have no problems at all using Fiocchi. Also, big thanks to Lula Loaders. Mag Lulas are awesome, and they make range day a lot faster and more time for shooting. Guys, we have the Grand Power Q1. This is an upgraded version over their original Q100, which was a striker fire pistol. It's one of the first that Grand Power produced. Most of their pistols are hammer fire. Very popular in Europe, and that rotating barrel system is just very smooth. With the upgrades though, they have really beefy cocking serrations, front and rear. It's optics ready. The sights are really nice, and great mag capacity. But this shoots really well with that rotating barrel system. I mean, very flat shooting. Of course, that delay allows for the recoil management to be that much better. Definitely in line with the Beretta PX4 Storm, which is just a great shooting handgun. So I really like Grand Power. They've really stepped it up. Again, they're very popular in Europe, and it's good to see them come back to the US and really upgrade. Check out Grand Power. I mean, guys, these pistols are just really well done. Now for disassembly, we're going to drop our magazine, check to make sure the gun is unloaded. Now, this is a little bit different than your standard Glock, even though you have these little takedown tabs right here. And of course, they're on each side. But the way we have to pull this slide back, I have to rest it at least on my belt. So I'm going to pull down, pull back, and pull up. And that relieves the slide. There are some different guns that actually do that, and this is just one of them. First thing, we're going to remove our barrel. You can see the track system, very similar to the AK-47. And this just rides here with this bar inside the slide. So we're going to put it back in, and it just rides just like this. It keeps the barrel in that linear position. Once we bring it back, you have to lift it out just like this. And I'm going to show you where this track rides, right here on the frame. And you can see that little nub, and so it just sits right there, and that is what rotates the barrel. And that's where your rotating action comes from. Here we can see the feed ramps, and of course they are steel because this is, again, one piece of bar stock. And this has been machined. A lot of times they use stamped metal, and this is nice to see this. And of course, just the, this one's been shot quite a bit, so it's a little bit dirty. And we have an ejector, and then we have our striker right here at the back with our striker safety. A lot of area that's been relieved to make this a much lighter slide, and that's just less felt recoil in your hand. Then of course with the slide itself. And the recoil spring is attached to the frame. Again, you can remove this frame for different grip modules. We're not going to take it apart at this time. We may do that at a later date. But this just gives you a lot of options. Having that chassis system, which does count as the firearm, and that serial number again is right here on the back. Now for reassembly, bring your barrel. You're going to want to make sure it's just kind of lined up, and you want to bring it all the way forward. Now you'll notice this notch, and this is what's going to go into your frame, and then you have notches out here. So take your recoil spring and put it into the slide right like this, and then just pull back, and you want to get past that section like that. And once it sits down, just release it. It's not difficult to do once you've tried it. Test for function, and we're back in business. Now we have our box, pop it open, and we have our additional mags. Again, 3 back straps. You also have different things here at the front with your optics plates, federally mandated lock, bore brush, and you have your owner's manual right here. Laser cut foam, so it fits really nice. It doesn't give an extra slot for your extra magazine, but that's okay. Just great to have an extra magazine. Now the retail price on the GPQ1 is $592.99. On Gun Zone deals, they run $499.95. Extra magazines again are $29.95. And we want to give a big thank you to Gun Zone deals. They also have a number of different models, even some of the older variants, the Mark 12. And of course it's at a reduced price, which makes that nice. But again, there's a number of different models that are on there, and I really like the Q1S. It gets in a very small package, great for concealed carry. But the big plus for this handgun is this rotating barrel system. I mean, it just shoots really flat. It's easy to pick up those sights again with a red dot. It's going to make it really nice. We didn't try it out with the red dot because we wanted to show it as is. Fits a number of different lights. I love the aggressive texturing that's been added. Gives it a lot better feel. Flat face trigger is very nice. Definitely not super tactile when you bring it back, but it's still a very nice trigger. Ambidextrous controls all throughout with the magazine release and the slide release. The slide has been very well done. I'm very impressed with it, much more than the original, and the finish looks really nice as well. And of course, again, it is optics ready, still sights, and you can get additional sights from Global Ordnance, who actually imports these. And they also service the Grand Power handguns. And its bigger brother, the Stribog. Excellent little PDW, and they are making those in a carbine form, but they're just great guns. So there's really a lot of cool firearms that are coming out of Grand Power right there in Slovakia. In fact, they export 95% of their production. Of course, if you're a double action, single action, hammer fired guy, they do make the K100, and of course they have variants of that as well. So guys, the Grand Power Q1, excellent, very innovative type handgun system that is very effective. If you've never shot the rotating barrel system, it's something to really experience. It gives that delay that really allows this to be an excellent shooting handgun. And then with the upgrades, with the slide serrations and optics ready, this is an excellent choice for self-defense or just taking it out to the range. It's definitely a different experience. And again, a big thank you to Nate over at Gun Zone Deals for sending the Grand Power Q1 for this review. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Q1 is 900. Whoa, 900. Woo!
We made it.
Looks like we made it. A little bit of resistance, and we don't have it cocked. Grand Power's out of Slovakia, and they're not well. And then they came out with their Striker Fire model, and very soft. God, I feel like I'm in a freaking race. We're not on a race, dude. Let's take the turtle approach. And they make the Streebog, which is a 9mm, 10mm, and coming up. Okay, I want to do that crap. Our double single action, but this is just a. Okay, I quit. I give up. I stop it.